What's up, guys? This is Kephas. So I want to start off this episode by apologizing if you notice that you're not hearing any in-game sounds, sound effects, music, and all that kind of stuff. It's because I had an audio kerfuffle, and I had to come back in and post-edit the audio, and I apologize for that, but probably the next couple of episodes you will notice there will be no background sound, just my voice, and I'm doing post-edit commentary. So, yes, I do apologize. Thank you guys so much for tolerating my ineptitude and supporting me all these years. As the year comes to an end, it is the holiday season weekend. Christmas is in 2 days, and I'm excited. It's been a wonderful holiday. Happy Winter Veil, everyone. But yeah, so the year is coming to an end, and I've been thinking a lot about how grateful I am to have a YouTube channel, and that people actually tune in to watch me ramble and play video games and whatever the crap else is going on. So seriously, you guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being a part of what I do here on YouTube and watching my videos. I really do appreciate it, because I say this all the time. I love video games, truly, and I love making videos, and that is the reason why I do this. So I'm so thankful just to be doing this for fun, for whatever I'm doing it for. I do it because I love it, and there's no better reason to do anything, I suppose. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for all that. And so I've been reflecting a lot on the past. Well, the year's coming to an end, but so is the decade. It's going to be 2020 next year, which is kind of crazy. It's the big joke for me. 2020 vision. I don't have it. I've got 2400. So I wonder how many people will be making jokes. It's fine. But, it's I don't usually reflect. I'm not the type of person that reflects on my year and, well, next year is going to be blah, like people do and all that kind of stuff. But since it's the end of a decade, it's kind of like there's a lot of things that I've been thinking about just in the world of video games and my YouTube channel, how I made my first video, I think, on this channel in 2011. And originally it was like just a one-off thing, and I got some views on that, and then I started doing Legally Blind just for fun, and then I made the Warcraft Overtime video, and that blew up, and here we are. And I'm happy to be doing this, and it's just crazy to think that I've been doing this in some fashion for almost 10 years. That blows my mind. The first video I made, I was 25. So, wow, that's kind of crazy. Shows you how old I'm getting. I'm getting up there. Getting some gray hairs in my beard. But as the older I get, the more I realize that I love video games, and I love making videos, and I love my life. So that is for sure. It's kind of funny how, all these years I've been playing video games, and I haven't even lost a step in terms of being interested. I'm still, heavily into games, finding new games that I enjoy. I've been playing the new Pokemon, which I know some people don't like it for various reasons, but I love it because, I have a vision problem, and it's the first Pokemon game on the big screen, so that's a huge deal. And here I am, a 30-something-year-old guy, and I'm excited about a new Pokemon game, which I think is hilarious. But it's also crazy to think that I've been playing World of Warcraft for over a decade, because I started playing in 2006, and here it is, almost 2020. So I've been playing WoW for, 14 years now? It's pretty crazy, too. It's just crazy to think about, where WoW was, 10 years ago. We were in, I think ICC was out for over a year, so ICC must have come out in 2009, kind of near the end, because Cataclysm came out in December of 2010. It's sad that I know all this stuff, and I don't know everything, but I remember that. I remember Mist came out in 2012, but it's weird to think back at where WoW was in 2010 and where WoW will be in 2020, and man, and also having Classic out there. And I think, it gives me a bit of a pause, because I think back, and obviously WoW has been a game that has kept me around for a very long time. I still enjoy it to this very day. You know, I still enjoy playing the game, obviously. I still log in from time to time. But I don't think the game has ever reached the heights that it reached for me back in 2010. Or even 2009. I'd say through 2010. It never reached those heights. You know, I think back to 2010... You know, it's Wrath of the Lich King. We're going in the Ice Crown. Probably the most memorable raid for me personally. I had a couple of raid teams. I was playing every day, multiple hours a day. More than I probably should have, but I was living life and I was loving it. You know, some people, you know, they dream of being rock stars. I dream of being into a video game. I don't know. And I was into World of Warcraft more than I've ever been into any game in 2010. And I had, like I said, I had multiple raid teams. I had people that I was talking to every day, playing the game with them, hanging out in Ventrio all night long, having conversations about God knows whatever, farming ore and just chatting and doing all this stuff, working for so many different things, leveling up characters, learning how to tank, all that stuff I remember going on in 2010. And I look at where the game is now, and not only where the game is now, but where my feelings about the game have been for really ever since Cataclysm, which came out in 2010. And it's honestly, like, not to be negative or anything. Like, look, I know that there are people out there that love WoW as it is, and that's fine. And I'm not here to dump on it, but it's just kind of sad that the game, for me personally, hasn't reached the heights that it reached in 2010. Which I would say is the peak of things, and it's never even come close to being that again. I've had some moments that I can remember, you know, up to, I'd say, Warlords. There were some high spots and low spots, but nothing that ever came close to that. And I mean, I made that video about where WoW was in Mist, the kind of downturn it had taken in 2012. And I made the Warcraft... The video I made criticizing Warlords, you know, I made that a couple years later. And it's kind of discouraging to think about it. Like, I'd say that ever since Wrath, you know, and Mist was pretty fun, I think. I'd say the next high spot was Legion. Legion was pretty good for modern WoW standards. But it's just kind of sad to me that the game hasn't reached the heights that it reached for me back then. And I don't know what that means. I feel like, you ever hear those people that, like, they say they're massive Star Wars fans, but then they'll be like, oh, Star Wars hasn't been good since Empire. And it's like, dude, Empire came out, like, what, 40 years ago? It was the second movie in 9, like, and not including extras and TV shows and the extended universe. Like, it, you know, at some point you're like, maybe you're not really a Star Wars fan anymore. You know, like, maybe you really enjoyed it for what it was, but it changed and you're not really into it anymore. And it's like, sometimes I think about WoW like that. Like, you know, WoW hasn't really been as good since Wrath. It's like, man, I mean, that, like, you think of it like this. I mean, WoW came out in 2004. Wrath ended in 2010. That's 6 years. So it's been 10 years since Wrath, right? 9 to 10 years. I guess 10 years will be 2010. I don't know how math works. Point is, the game has been out post-Wrath for longer than it was out pre-Wrath. And I guess it's weird for me to think, you know, those first 4 years, because I started in 2006, those first 4 years were so amazing. And the last 9 or 10 have never touched those first 4. For me personally. And I'm not trying to be negative. Obviously, I still love the game. I still play it. I still get into it. It just gives me a moment of pause. You know, like, man, what does that say about my feelings of the game? What is that going to lead for the game in the future? It's, you know, on one hand, it's amazing that the game is still out there. And at the same time, it's like, it's sad that, like, because I'm not the only one that feels this way. I mean, they made WoW Classic for a reason, and not only was it to re-experience an old game, but it was because people wanted to play WoW but were not satisfied with what the current game is. And, you know, I mean, you think about 2010 was when Group Finder came out. That's good to some, bad for others, depending on your perspective, but it's just weird to think that this game has never reached the heights, subscriber-wise and otherwise, really since 2010. And it's been out for 10 years since then. Like I said, I don't know what that says. It just gives me a moment of pause and reflection, you know, for where the game is now. And, you know, I hope that 2020 with the release of Shadow, I get it confused with Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy is Shadowbringers, Shadowlands. That's what the WoW one's going to be called. That is going to get confusing. With the release of Shadowlands, I certainly hope that it is an upturn. You know, I hope that it starts to improve the game for everyone, not just for people that like whatever WoW is, no matter what it is, but for people that love WoW but haven't really enjoyed it as much for a while. You know, I mean, I could dissect like the past 10 years, when I enjoyed it the most, when I didn't, and all that stuff. But generally speaking, it's crazy to think about it like in those terms. Like it gives you a moment of just like it's just weird to think about. Like the game was so good back then that I've still been playing it for all these years, even though it hasn't reached those heights. And that is one major positive that I can give. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.